Welcome to Box Wine Therapy, where the wine is cheap and the therapy's priceless. We're two best friends, a couple of moms, and professional oversharers here to spill the wine and real life. I'm Kayla. I'm Hannah. Now let's get it started. Welcome back to Box Wine Therapy. Today it is just me, Kayla, doing a solo podcast because Hannah's out hunting. And so I thought we would talk today about 10 different ways to spark that joy back into your everyday routine. I know we're coming into the holidays, so it's a really chaotic time of year and routines seem to go out the window. But I've also been feeling like I'm in a little bit of a rut lately. I always like to have that little weekly level up thing. And I know Hannah and I haven't really talked about it much lately on the pod, but I always try to think, how can I improve myself just a little bit better than I was yesterday? I'm not trying to become super mom or anything like that, but I think that a lot of times we really lose ourselves when we're parenting, but even in general, it kind of ebbs and flows. We tend to lose ourselves and it's always good to come back? Anyway, I thought today would be a good day to talk about little ways that we can enhance our everyday and make you feel a little bit more like yourself again, and maybe help motivate you to make some positive changes in your life too. I know this is a big thing for me, is I usually want to change everything about my life whenever I finally get it in my brain that we're going to become a better person. So this is a note for myself as well as you, that you don't have to do all 10 things that I'm going to tell you today, but if you pick one and start doing it today, you're going to feel so much better. Your life will become better even by those tiny little changes. Think of it like the domino effect, right? So it just takes one domino to ripple effect all the other ones, and then they all topple over. I think because I'm pregnant, I have this timeline in my head of what kind of mom I want to be for 2 kids now. In my mind, I've got this timeline of like, okay, I'm going to start these little habits now so that when the baby comes, we can kind of have a little smoother transition into becoming a family of 4. We've got the new year coming up. If you're big into setting goals, which I think is a great thing, you don't have to wait for the new year to set new expectations for yourself. And I thought this would be a great time to start on that right now. My first suggestion on my 10 things to do to spark joy back into your routine is to take a look at your surroundings. I want you to look at your workspace, your car, your house, and just in general, your environment, wherever you spend the most time. I want you to take a look at how clean and peaceful it feels. I've got so many catch-all spaces in my home. There's so many ways that you don't have to spend big money to make a change in your space. Maybe you have some old furniture that you could repurpose in another room in your house. But take a look at your space, and if you've got clutter or you have papers that keep piling up in this same area, clearly that's a place that you want to keep those papers. So find a way to make it more appealing to the eye. If it's always like, oh, just avoid that pile, find a way to either have like a little filing storage thing or whatever. Keep it more streamlined and more of a command center, if you will, rather than just like the dump space. Because once you have a really nice, peaceful, calm space in your house or in your office or your car, that's going to really help you be able to think more clearly and get you creative, get the spark of joy in yourself because your surroundings aren't calling you to do the dishes, pick up this pile of laundry, do that, do this, do that. You already have that kind of in order. So that's my first step, is getting your space organized and clean. And that's why I mentioned your car too, because I feel like that can be something that is so easily overlooked. I always forget that I want to like vacuum my car until I'm in it again. And I'm like, dang it, where are all these crumbs coming from, Number 2 is self-care and what that looks like for you. I'm not saying you have to have a 10-step skincare routine or anything like that. I'm talking about what are the little things that help you feel a little bit more like yourself. I know whenever I go through feeling like I'm in a rut, those are the times that I'm dressing kind of sloppily, think Adam Sandler, which is very comfy, by the way, but I also am not taking care of me. I feel better personally when I do a little bit of makeup, which it could take just 5 minutes. It doesn't have to be a full 30-minute, 1-hour beauty routine. Put a little something on that makes you feel better. Focus on one area. If I have just like foundation, concealer, powder, little bronzer, that sounds like a lot, but the base face, if I have that and then some mascara, I'm good to go. I feel so much better by taking 5 minutes to myself to kind of get myself ready for the day. And I found that even as a stay-at-home mom, even if I'm not going anywhere that day, I find that getting my face on, I feel so much more productive because I spent a little time on myself. I've filled my cup a little bit so then I can give to my family. Another little thing that I like to do, I feel like a lot of us are on a budget these days. I don't have the extra funds to go and get my nails done or go to the hair salon, but I just bought little glue on nails from Target and I'm so excited because they were $10 a pack and it's such a easy, quick way. You sit down 5, 10 minutes, glue them all on, and boom, you just feel like a rock star. Again, it's like a little elevation in your mood to help you feel a little bit more confident. I actually started, because of Hannah, I started dyeing my hair a year ago now at home. We just looked up videos on YouTube on how to highlight your own hair, got the supplies from Sally Beauty. We were doing each other's hair, but then our schedules just kind of got busy, so I started just doing it myself. These are at home highlights, you guys. That has significantly cut down on that part of our budget, so that makes me feel good. But little swaps like that, again, find what kind of makes you feel like, "Oh, I'm taking care of myself." Maybe it's like a little at home spa day or whatever, or heck, go treat yourself to a pedicure or a massage or something that helps you feel good. Number three, I feel like is a huge one that maybe we overlook. But it's, who are you listening to? Who are you talking to? This is a huge thing that I started realizing driving in my car. I have my Spotify playlist and I've got liked songs from past few years. 3 years ago, I got divorced. And so I have a lot of those hate men songs, just kind of depressed, sad ones. And I started realizing that I was skipping over those a lot in my car, and they're on my liked playlist for Spotify, so they keep popping up. I don't really resonate with that kind of music anymore, so I'm going to take it off and we're just going to have like the happy, uplifting music because that's what I want to feel, is happy and excited. And not to say there's a time and a place for sad songs that you want to just cry, but if you feel like you're stuck in that sad, depressed mood, are you listening to sad music? Are you watching those movies that make you cry? Are you talking to a friend who also is in the same boat and you only ever just crab about sad, sappy stuff? Take an inventory of what you're exposing yourself to. And this is also on social media too. What kind of videos are you watching? What kind of things are you surrounding yourself with? And it's okay to do a purge. Delete the songs that you don't really resonate with anymore. If there's a friend that you just feel like, oh, every time I talk to this friend, I feel so drained. I feel so energy low. It's not a good thing. Bring it up to them. And I've actually even walked away from friendships that just didn't feel like the right fit anymore. And that's okay. People come and go out of your life. And if you have someone who's a relative who maybe is just adding a lot of negativity into your life, you can always set that clear boundary and say, hey, I really can't handle hearing about this kind of stuff right now because I'm going through my own stuff. Can we talk about something else whenever we're talking? Or, lay some sort of boundary and let them know how it's making you feel, because they might not even realize it. They're unloading all their crap on you. And if you're like me, you soak it up like a sponge, and that's not good for us, right? So maybe you need to either have that conversation with them. No, for sure, you need to have the conversation with them, but also, work on building that shield up for yourself. Number four is to find a passion or purpose. I think a lot of times we go through life and you're like, I've got all these to dos. I have things to do for my job. I have things to do for my daily life. And pretty soon it's bedtime, time to go to bed. What do you feel during your day, during your work day? Do you feel like your job is fulfilling that purpose for you or that passion? Now, I know like a lot of people say sometimes you just work for the paycheck. You're not always going to love everything about your job, or you're not always going to have that like passion filled job. And I totally agree. But you need to at least like 90% of your job, right? You spend a ton of time there. And if it's just not fitting right, it's okay to leave that or look for something different. Or maybe it's time to change paths, and totally go a different job. I have had the most dramatic change in job titles. I went from working in healthcare to working in fashion. My first jobs were working at a landscape nursery to a grocery store, then into an office. There's so many benefits to working different types of jobs because you learn different skills. I actually got a master's degree in exercise physiology, which allowed me to work in cardiac rehab. But I felt like after a few years, it just wasn't the right fit for me. I felt like I was good at it, but I was like, man, I don't know. I don't feel smart enough. And that anyway, what are we talking about? Passion and purpose. Okay. I don't know how I'm gonna tie all that in, but maybe it doesn't have to be at your job that you find that passion and purpose, but in your life somewhere, you need to find something that fuels you and makes you feel good. I don't think there's a quick answer for that one. It really takes a lot of digging. I actually started reading a book called You Only Die Once. I talked about this, I think, on our very first podcast, but it's been a really big life changer for me. I've learned a lot about myself in the last couple months reading this, and I'm kind of just taking my time through it and doing the little exercises and quizzes. And that's what really helped me figure out that my passion, my purpose is being a stay at home mom and being the matriarch of the household and just giving myself in that way. That is where I truly feel totally aligned. It's taken me, oh my gosh, I'm 34. Like, it's taken me over a decade of working different jobs to figure out that this is actually what I want to do. And it's not for everybody. And it's also not something that every family can do. So I am super grateful that Keith is very supportive of me being that role and also that we're able to make it work in our family. So that's one I think that as much as I wanted it to be like 10 quick tips to spark that joy back in, but that one is going to take a little bit extra homework, whether it's from a YouTube video, there's tons of motivational videos out there, or reading a book like the one I mentioned. Or there's another one too, Jen Sincero. This one's been around forever. The You Are a Badass collection. Love those ones. Number 5 kind of ties in with number 4. So find a hobby. I think that hobbies kind of went away a little bit for myself once social media really took a forefront. And if you are kind of in that same boat where you find yourself scrolling on TikTok and watching other people live their lives versus living your own, we've all been there. And I'm kind of there right now. So I feel like a big thing is find a hobby that you enjoy. Maybe it was something that you did as a child too. I think of like, oh, I loved dancing. And so I joined this dance fitness workout class and it's available twice a week. And I usually go just one night a week because that's what works best for our schedule. But I have felt so alive. Not only that, but I also get to connect with other women and it just makes me feel like me again outside of being a mom. It's just so exciting. I look forward to that day every single week that I get to go and do this dance class. I used to love reading when I was a kid. Then once I got into the harder classes in high school, I kind of just stopped reading and then picked it up a little bit again in my 20s. It ebbed and flowed. But I remembered, hey, the library is free. I have found so many good ones. Making the time to just read for 10 minutes a day, 20 minutes a day has really helped me feel, again, like I'm filling my own cup and doing something that I want to do. Number 6 is get your budget under control. Yes, this can help spark joy back in your life because if you're kind of going around blindly spending and then you're like, oh my God, why do I not have any money left at the end of this paycheck, or the month or whatever, or you have fun things coming up. This is what I found so often with me and Keith. We have all these trips planned, right? And we know they're coming months in advance. And all of a sudden we get there and then we're putting everything on the credit card. And then you have to pay that back. And it just kind of can become a tumbleweed. So take a hard look at your finances. I actually downloaded an app called Budget Bestie. I saw it on TikTok and it's been so fun because it's basically the envelope system that I think it's Dave Ramsey talks about. So the way that the app works is you say, okay, I made this much for my paycheck. And then you get to stuff your envelopes, whether it's for different bills. And then you put in there too, like, oh, this bill is due on this day of the month and it's every month. Or I have some bills that come out every 3 months or however it is, you put your subscriptions in there, you put in your variable spending stuff. So groceries, gas, all of that kind of stuff. You can make savings envelopes too. And this has been really good for my brain to kind of sort it all out and then not feel like, oh, we don't have any money because I have pre-allotted for it. And then every day you just go in and say like, okay, I spent this much money because I got a drink at Sonic, or oh, I paid this bill today. And then you can see where your money is actually going. I've only been using the app for like 3 weeks. And I feel like I've felt so much less anxiety around finances. And then Keith and I both have a little allowance every week. And that's really helped us to feel like you can go and treat yourself without feeling guilty later that you've spent money because you already budgeted for it. So that's helped me be a little bit happier. And I think that's a good one for a lot of us, especially in these times. On that note, I heard something the other day that really impacted me where this guy was saying, the cost of living has gone up. Everything is more expensive, but somehow I still have groceries in my cabinet. I have gas in my car. and I'm doing okay. And he said, God always provides, even when you're not sure how you're going to make it. And I think that's a big thing too. I feel like having some sort of trust in the universe or the higher being is really important too. I just thought that was really impactful because sometimes I don't know how we are doing it. How are we making it on one income, but we are. And maybe it is that we're getting better at managing money, or God always provides. So, anyway, we're over halfway through, you guys. Woo! Number 7 is move your body and get outside. Get that sunshine, get the fresh air. Growing up in Minnesota, I always felt like, oh, winter, I got a hermit crab and be inside all the time. There are plenty of days that are still sunshiny or at least nice enough to get outside and get that fresh air. Even on the cold days, honestly, bundling up and getting that fresh air slapping in your face, it does really feel good. And it doesn't have to be long, but I have found that when I've been in a rut in sort of that seasonal depression, getting some outside air, my feet on the ground, really has a positive impact on my health as a whole. My personality is all or nothing a lot of times. If I want to start an exercise routine, I better be doing it 5, 6 days a week. But just moving your body for 30 minutes a day, and that can be broken down into 3 10-minute walks. Now, my daughter's turning 2 at the end of this month, and she has been so good at being like, outside. Like, she loves to be outside, and she has really pushed me to get out in the fresh air more and go on little walks. And sometimes I don't really feel like going on a walk, but I'm like, well, we can go down the block and back, and it satisfies her, which is great. It gets me outside, it gets me moving a little bit, and to be honest, I have never regretted a walk. Once I finally get past that like 15-minute yucky mark, where you're just kind of like, ugh, I don't want to be out here doing this. Once you get past that, you get that burst of endorphins and you feel so good, to the point where I've gone on a walk sometimes thinking I was actually wanting to lay down for a nap instead of go for a walk, but go on the walk. She falls asleep in the stroller. The walk has energized me so much that I'm able to get something else done around the house while she's sleeping. And then I feel great because I'm like, oh, I'm moving my body. I have part of the way of my at least 30 minutes a day of movement, getting the heart rate up a little bit. And I just feel so much better getting that in every day instead of being like, oh, I have to go do a 1-hour intense workout, be super sweaty, all of that stuff, which I still enjoy, but I just don't find the time to do that anymore. I don't make the time. I could do it, but I just haven't been making the time for that. This is the way that I fit it in right now, and I'm still satisfied with that. So move your body, get outside, that sunshine, the fresh air, we all need it. And I guess that can go into number 8. If you're feeling like junk, you're probably putting junk food in your body, aren't you? Whenever I feel crappy, I'm usually hitting up the drive-thrus a lot more, or I'm doing the like instant meals, or just snacking a lot on things that don't make me feel good. We just had Halloween. We weren't going to take our toddler trick-or-treating, but we ended up doing it. So she had lots of candy that she came home with, and we don't give her candy, so we ate it instead. And I'm going to tell you, it's made me feel so sluggish and so yuck. I also feel like it kind of zapped the glow from my skin, having all the excess sugar. I know it's not good for me, we know it's not good. I think the biggest misconception is that eating healthy is so much more expensive, but look at the prices of a bag of chips nowadays. It's so crazy how expensive that is. And even just going through the fast food drive-through places, they're getting so expensive too that really, if you went home and made a burger yourself, it's probably going to be a lot healthier for you. I have found that you can do your shopping at Aldi, Walmart, or shop the sales, finding coupons or the weekly specials at your different grocery stores. That has really helped our budget and also helps to still get in those healthy things. Also, you don't have to get fresh produce. Frozen vegetables can taste just as good, and they still have those nutrients in them. I'd probably pick, frozen over canned if you could, unless you're canning your own. Which, what a dream. I wish that I could have like a giant garden, grow our own vegetables and fruit, have enough for the whole year. Wouldn't that be so cool? Oh, what a dream. But maybe someday. Definitely make room in the budget for healthy eating. You're going to feel better. Think of food as fuel. There's something about eating good, whole, real food that just feels so good for the soul. They say that you should start with an 8-ounce glass of water before you put anything else in your body. Make sure that you're having enough water throughout the day, getting your good vitamins and minerals in, and just fueling your body. If you're working out, but you're eating like shit, you're not going to see any results. If you feel like, ugh, I'm pudgy, I'm swollen, I've gained a lot of weight, whatever, the quickest way that you're going to see a difference is in the kitchen, not at the gym. So start with your eating habits. Are you drinking a lot of alcohol? Because that's got a lot of empty calories that are not doing any benefits for our body, right? Look at what you're putting in your coffee. If you're putting sugar and creamer, that's a lot of empty calories again there too. So look at sugars, look at alcohol, the junk food, the things that are not really benefiting your body. You're going to see the biggest difference in that and quickly too. Since I am pregnant, obviously I'm not drinking alcohol and I have felt so good besides the morning sickness and other pregnancy symptoms. I feel like I feel so much better not drinking actually. So that's cool because I won't be able to for a long time. But even then, I'm like, I don't know, it just doesn't even sound appealing right now. All I really like from alcohol is that woo-saw feeling, which you can get from other things. Like there's so many other things on the market right now, like those recess drinks. They use adaptogens or something like that. There's a lot of things that you can have as an alternative to that. Oh, there used to be something that I would have, and it was called an adrenal cocktail. Lime juice, club soda, and something else. And I can't remember what it is now, but if you Google adrenal cocktail, that's supposed to help that same like woo-saw feeling. And it just came back to me now. So I should try having that again because how delicious. Almost like a mojito, you know? Okay, number 9 kind of just wraps in everything. What does your routine look like? Maybe you can pick one area of your day and change it for the better. So when you first wake up, in the morning, are you reaching for your phone and scrolling for a few minutes? Now, this is hard because I actually use my phone for an alarm. I ended up having to move my phone stand across the room so that I was not able to just instinctively reach for it in the mornings. And that has been a huge game changer for me to just get up out of bed and try to do skincare or makeup before Maddie wakes up, which usually doesn't happen. But at least I can get that little time to myself without looking at someone else's life, you know, scrolling on social media. Okay, I think I'm kind of heavy hitting on social media and scrolling, but it is such a big thing where we get sucked into it so easily, and then it just really affects the rest of your day in a negative way sometimes because we play the comparison game, but all you're really seeing is the highlight reel of someone else's day. You're seeing maybe a 30-second clip, or if they did one of those fast paced, fast forward vlogs, you're seeing tiny little seconds all mashed into one. And in reality, they're not going to show you their whole picture. You can't really compare your life to someone else's unless you find it inspiring in a way. You know, if you see someone that is running regularly and you're like, I want to do that. If you find a way to get it inspirational for yourself, where when you see that person post that they've gone on a run and you're like, okay, that's it. I'm suiting up, I'm putting on my shoes and I'm going out for a run right now. Great. You know, find it inspirational or turn it off, put it away. I think a big thing that I tell myself is I don't have the time to do XYZ. But really, it's just about making the time and making something a priority. If you really want to make a change in your life and become a better version of yourself than you were yesterday, you just have to make the time. Like I said before, what does your routine look like in the morning or nighttime or middle of the day? We can find so many little pockets of time to adjust and make those small changes. And if you do something for 10 minutes every day and add that up over a year, that's a lot. How much is that? Let's see. Let's calculate because I think that'd be a fun fact. 10 minutes times 365 days a year is 3,650 minutes, which is 60 hours. You put in 60 hours towards a better habit change, and like, oh, you're gonna have good results after all of that. That's 10 minutes a day. Wow. Okay, so let's do it. Let's do something better for ourselves, right? Okay, my last tip, which I think is so important, and we've really lost touch on this, is make a human connection every day if you can. A lot of times I'll have a passing thought where I'm like, I haven't talked to this person in a while. I kind of miss her. I should send her a text or call her on the phone and say, hey, let's meet up. Like, just try to pick a day and make a plan because there's so many times we get to the weekend and I don't have any plans at all. And I could have been able to make like a quick little coffee meetup or just swing by someone's house. You don't have to have a big thing that you're going to do, like an event or, you know, dinner. Just spend time with people. You know, and that kind of ties into the whole theme of everything is less phone time if you can, you know, more in-person interactions or
just in general, kind of immerse yourself back into society because we've gotten to this point of like autopilot. And I think even at the stores, we're all walking through like this with our blinders on. I moved to Texas 4.5 years ago now. And something that I realized when I moved down here is that people are a lot more intentional with just casual conversations in the grocery store. That's where I find that I talk to the most random people is in the grocery store. And it's just kind of nice. I was at Target the other day. They had like their deal of the day, which was 40% off the matching pajama sets for your family, which is like so exciting. I FaceTimed my grandma because I'm like, which one do I pick for us? There's so many options. They're all so cute. And this other girl was FaceTiming her mom. And so we both looked at each other and we're like, are you doing what I'm doing? And we just had that little moment, that little spark, and thinking back to it, and this sounds so crazy, but I just feel like we were kind of the same person, the same vibe. And I wish that I could have been like, do you want to be friends? I don't know how to make friends as an adult. All the friends that I've made have been through somebody else, a guy I was dating, or Hannah is the queen of making friends. So anybody that I've met down in Texas here has probably been friends with her or friends with Keith or something. So I feel like I've started to this last year make my own friends, which is really exciting. And even if they're just more like people that you see once a week or whatever, like you don't talk outside of the times that you see each other, that connection fuels your soul. We are meant to be moving our bodies, making those social connections, living life in the present instead of living it through a little box that we carry around everywhere. So get out there and do the things that make you feel joy again. I hope this was helpful. Take a little tip or two and use it and start today. I feel like there's so many ways more that I probably could have talked about, but these were the ones that really stood out to me over the last couple weeks. I just want to become the best version of myself and feel the best that I can throughout this pregnancy. And so that means just doing a little extra things where I'm keeping the house a little bit more tidy. I'm fueling my body with that good nutrition, moving my body, keeping it active and strong, and just finding ways to have a little bit more fun in my day. We all have those boring to-do lists that like we have to do, but fill in the fun where you can because you're only going to be this age once, and don't let it slip by you and feel like, oh, I wasted that year doing just all the boring mundane things. Like, spark a little joy back in your life. Let me know in the comments below what one thing you're going to do today to kind of get that joy back in your life. All right, bye.